I quite appreciate your contributions here. And let's leave the man of God to respond to some of this.
No, George, before we respond to that, I think we have a report from from our correspondent on the field right now. We have that report ready right now. We want to actually bring that report to you, and of course our guest is still here. He will definitely react to one or two things. Coming back to what Joseph said, also we'll mix all that up for you. Stay with us.
Get that around, please come around now.
Go straight to that.
Nigerians are known to vote according to their ethnicity, affiliation, sentiments, or faith, regardless of the capacity of the candidates to lead the country. Now, the question is, how do we juxtapose this reality with the election going on right now in Osun State? From the visuals that we've brought to you, you can actually see the queue. The Osun people have come out to actually vote. The number is not so much from what I saw, but that is just a visual from one part of the states that we've brought to you. But again, I need to ask my guests. We saw the few people that have come out to cast their votes. It's not quite impressive. That's number one. Then, of course, from the call that we had, the sentiments of the caller that called. Now, it's quite clear that the people are responding by coming out. We still need to talk about what they need to do, their sentiments, their belief, their state of mind right now in Osun State, and the way to go.
In fact, what we saw on here right now is quite impressive. That's just a polling booth. A polling booth. And for you to have that number this early in a polling booth, but I foresee a situation where the turnout will be very impressive.
Gradually.
It will be very impressive in Osun. The only thing the problem that people have is that at times you cannot marry together the number of registered voters and the number of actual voters.
Actual voters, yes.
The number of registered voters is so bloated up, and they are quite different from the numbers of the actual voters.
Why do we always have that problem? It's not just for Osun State alone. That's another visual. That's quite that number is increasing. But why do we often have such a problem in our elections? Why do we have this recur year in, year out, or every time we have elections?
You have to take statistics of the people who register to vote, where they register to vote. There are issues of multiple registration.
There's people living from Lagos to Osun, then Osun
to come back to Lagos to register, and you look at those. Then there are people even within Lagos where people moved so much. Today you are living in Mushin, you register, and then tomorrow you go to, and we are not the day we be using our what do you call it, the data bank, to harmonize every data. You will discover that if you harmonize every data collected, you will discover that you will eliminate millions or people who have double, triple, quadruple registration.
Sir, I want to ask a question here now. The BVN or the NIM, the National Identification Number, people register. Even when you register some other place and then you go to another place to say, let me, or maybe I didn't get it there, let me go to another place. As soon as your name is punched, your name appears and say you have been registered. Why can't we have such kind of a system?
That is why if we finish having a system that is perfect, like in all that climate, then you don't need to have voters registration.
But INEC said they have done their job.
Once your age gets there and you are already registered as a citizen of Nigeria, your birth is clarified at the time you are giving birth to, everything about you is unified. All you need to do to vote is your identity as a human and as a citizen of the country.
And you vote.
And you vote. And in that case, you can only vote once.
Now, I think we have a report.
And you can vote wherever you stay.
You stay. So I think we have another report from the field right now, which we want to share with you. Our guest is still here. He will definitely react to it when we return. Stay with us.
Obale Shaba 1, actually, which is Ward 1, Unit 1, Elisha, here at the polling unit. Now you can see behind me, voting is about to commence. The queue right here also enormous. You know, people are really turning out to cast their vote. The electoral officers just called in for the agents to come and attest to show themselves that, okay, they are willing and ready to abide by the rules and regulation guiding the electoral process. As you can see, if you can zoom down there, you can see that I think the accreditation is about done, and they're about to fully commence the voting. The voting, like I said, was supposed to start around 8, and this is a few minutes past the hour of 8. But very soon the election will commence, and also voting exercise will proceed. But the peace here also is also very paramount. As you can see, everywhere is peaceful and people waiting to cast their vote. But as I said before, we are definitely going to go around town also to get the views and see the situation report for this electoral process today.
Thank you, Emmanuel Olubobokun, right from Osun State, giving us the feeds live from Osun State right now. Like you rightly said, the place is peaceful and the process is going on smoothly. But we want the reaction from our guest who is still in the studio, Bishop Funsho Aware, is the Bishop of Anglican Diocese Mainland, Lagos State, and is also a political analyst, a social analyst, a politician, is right here. So I want you to react to the situation on the ground, and of course, let us now, should we dive in into Osun by taking a look at the electoral process? We'll have to look at the past, and of course juggle it to the present and to see where we're going today with the election. So the process in Osun, and of course we have to break it down from the different parts, the expectation from the different zones, as it were, in Osun State.
Well, I expect the election to be majorly peaceful. The security organization knows the areas that are prone to violence. You look at some parts of Osogbo, you look at some part of Ife, but majorly is going to be a peaceful election. I'm expecting that. And you are also now going to, because once you have a system in place where people cannot move, and you are very, very definite about that, you curb the violence situation. Then mainly I don't see anything that will be quite different from what we had before. The major candidates is the PDP candidate, which is Isiaka Adeleke, and the incumbent governor Oyetola. A new dimension introduced to it is the Labour Party candidate, not because of the hype of present Labour, but the mere fact that the man has been on ground politically in Osun. He has been a strong member in the House of Assembly. I think he did represent his constituency even in the House of Rep, and he moved from APC because he wasn't satisfied with what happened there to where he is, which is the Labour Party. So he might throw his weight around a bit. Then the Adeleke family, basically coming from Ede and environ, they are going to, Adeleke is still going to have a very strong showing from that part of Osun. And so I think it's still going to be a direct race between the PDP candidate, Isiaka Adeleke, and the incumbent governor, Oyetola. It's just going to, it's a two-pronged election. In fact, you can see it from the mega rally they have and all the rest. So we are expecting, the last election, if you said we are coming from where we are going, where we are coming from to where we are going, before the election was declared inconclusive, Adeleke was leading with over 300 votes. So they declared the election inconclusive, and they have to recontest in 7 polling booths, which is from Ife. And from the 7 now, APC was able to win 6 to PDP 1. And so even the margin at the last election was just a margin of less than 400 votes. 400 votes. So
sir, now you mentioned all this, and this has to do with also party machineries, on ground in these states. To say this person comes out, like you talked about the last election, and the fact that Ede in particular is where Adeleke is from. And Ede, from history, I think have just been able to produce maybe a senator or something who was the brother to the present contesting governor from on PDP platform, who was a senator then, but eventually that was taken off the Adelekes after his demise by the Aregbesolas and all that. But now things have changed to some level, and we know there is some kind of bickering between Aregbesola and somebody who is quite important to the APC. But Adeleke, like you said, is a formidable force, a very formidable force, and he almost won the last time. Or if not, maybe we can we use the word rig out one way or the other. So what is going to happen right now? We've heard that the APC did not the APC now, the governor did not approve them using any of the areas for their campaign. You know, that's the PDP. And that has raised a lot of questions about how credible the elections are going to be. But we have seen from the visuals shown here that the accreditation is going on quite smoothly. But the voting now is another thing. That may come out in the afternoon. So what is going to happen between these two parties? Are we going to see some form of another cancellations or suspensions of election?
I don't. From people that I know who are family on ground in Osun, I'm also supposed to have been in Osun as an observer, but I didn't go. But from information gathered in Osun, I don't foresee an inconclusive election this time around. You see, let me correct a fact that you said. The late Senator Adeleke was also a one-time governor of Osun.
Yes.
That was the one that was called Shebubawon. Yes, it was. The Adeleke family politically has been very strong in Osun. And it has been a very, very influential family. Very rich anyway. You know, one of them is a multi-billionaire over and over again. And that was, and then the other, so it's a family of very long standing in Osun that has very wide influence, and they have influenced the life of so many people. And so that counts in favor for Isiaka Adeleke, although a lot of people still do not see him as a very serious
dancing
person,
senator.
You know, and at the debate, actually, I didn't see him performing too well. Like somebody jokingly says, he says, when they were doing the last rally and immediately music started, the man started dancing again. He said, any DJ that plays music where Adeleke is must be a very wicked person. Because immediately the man hears music, he starts dancing. But that is by the way. But on a much more serious note, from their area of influence, you mentioned the Aregbesola issue. A lot of people thought it will affect maybe the Aregbesola faction will actually go ahead to support another candidate.
Another candidate.
APC. But yesterday, no, day before yesterday, the faction actually came out and says they remain APC. That even when the whole issue goes off, they are still now going to come back to fight their issue. But they are fighting their issue within their party. And you know, it so happened that that issue actually bring a lot of acrimony between Aregbesola and the present presidential candidate of APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I think within their issue, they have also been able to resolve a lot of issue within themselves.
And that has to do with the party.
The clinging of the ticket of Tinubu actually settled a lot of issue in APC.
APC. I wish we could go on and on, but we do not have time again on this part of our interview. We have people on the ground in the field. We have packages to bring to you. So at this point, we need to thank our guests for being on the show. We've been speaking with Bishop Funsho Aware. He is the Bishop of the Anglican Diocese, Mainland Lagos. Is a political analyst, a politician, a social analyst. We appreciate you so much for being on the show live today as Osun Decides.
Thank you so much for your time.
And you don't go anywhere, because the show continues as we stay with the Osun people as they decide today who rules them. Up next is a package from the field. We'll be right back.
The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides.
At the polling unit of the former governor of Osun State in person of Rauf Arigbeshola, who happens to be the Minister of Interior for the Federal Republic of Nigeria here at Isare, Ilisha, and in Osun State. As you can see behind me is the tent being set up for the polling units, which will commence, for the voting, which will commence tomorrow, the 16th of July. And the environment it seems very peaceful, and people waiting and anticipating for the commencement of the election come tomorrow. And although we've been hearing rumors of clashes here and there in various parts of the state, but right here where we are, there have not been any signs, and there is presently no sign of clashes or whatsoever. Everyone going about their normal duties. But we'll still go around town, around this locality, to get the opinion of people as regards the forthcoming election coming tomorrow, and the voting exercise, and also what will happen, what would they want, or what they will want, the change they'll be wanting for the next 4 years in Osun State.
Tomorrow's election is going to be peaceful within this community. Okay. And I assure the interviewer and the government that it's going to be very, very peaceful here within this community.
We started with peace, and we are going to end it with peace. And we want it to be continued. I mean, the peace must be reign and reign and reign. So by the special grace of God, tomorrow, about what we are thinking that is going to be succeed is that we want the incumbent governor to continue his work in this state.
On the part of continuity, they noted that the sitting government have indeed done their best in providing for the community and the state, but more can still be done in the local area, such as providing boreholes and rehabilitation of the roads.
We are expecting borehole water, and there are some roads that are very, very bad, which the former government has promised this community and failed. But this present government has promised us to help us if we should give him the second term.
I am now pleading to the to the governor, as he's already promised us in this community that he will provide another borehole and the rehabilitation of our road. So we are now begging him to do it for us in coming election.
Now the people have spoken, and all that is left is for tomorrow to be here, where the voting exercise will commence in this police locality, in this polling unit here in Isare, Ilisha of Osun State. But what they're saying is, whatever the outcome may be, they are ready to accept their fate and partner with the newly elected governor of Osun State for the next 4 years. From Isare, Ilisha, Osun State, Emmanuel Olubobokun, Captain Television. I'm right here at Bogude at the local government area of Osun State, the polling unit of one of the aspirants of the Osun State election from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in person of Ademola Adeleke. Behind me, where the green tent is the polling unit where he's going to be casting his vote come tomorrow morning. Hopefully tomorrow morning or anytime he comes out, but definitely tomorrow. As you can see, the environment around me, it is peaceful, and everyone I come, though while we're coming, I'll be getting some chances of people saying that it's just him they want for this actually to win the election and to become the governor of the Osun State as a whole. But how well he's going to play depends on the citizens of Osun State and how well they come out in mass to cast their vote. But first, we're going to go around town, around this local government area, to check the view of people to hear what they can say about tomorrow's election and whether they will come out to vote and who they hope to win to become their next governor.
What we expect is fair and fair election, because masses already want to determine who I really want to be voted for. And that's what we want from the government, to let everybody do their own civic responsibility to cast the vote for whoever that they wish.
We thank Almighty Allah that what we are saying now is that there's going to be free and fair election. We have been saying the green light that there's going to be free and fair election.
They further gave the words on the kind of change they need in the state, especially Ede.
We know that Senator Adeleke is from is from a rich family. He doesn't want to go there to go and embezzle our money. It's for the sake of the masses. That's the reason why he wanted to be look. And if you see Ede, even if you go to any other town across Osun State, you know that this government are not doing well in terms of infrastructure. There's no good road, no electricity, no water. Even in Ede here, that's the reason why everybody, particularly Ede, even Osun State in general, that's why they want change. We want to change the government so that we want someone that will not be there for embezzle our money, and someone that will bear with the passion, that have passion for the masses in the states.
I believe that when he's become a governor, there's going to be development in Osun State. Now we can see now in Ede, there's no any road, no any development, even in Osun State in general. So we want our people to vote for him because he's an indigenous of Osun. He lives in Ede, he lives in Osun State, so that is the reason why we want a person that will be the person that living in our community. So you know what is, you know our problem very well. So we don't need any foreign something in Osun State.
Now, with all being said, from the words of people around this community, which happens to be Agogunde of Ede local government area of Osun State, we can see that people are actually clamoring for a change in governance, not the All Progressive Congress coming in again and making their life miserable, as they say. But we hope that with the winning and with the election result come tomorrow, we'll be able to know who becomes the governor-elect of the state, be it, is it PDP or APC, only time we tell. Now I'm here at Ilesha East, Ward 9, Unit 4, in the Ilesha town. As you can see right behind me, the crowd and the turnout here, people waiting to cast a vote. According to what I just got, it seems that the electoral observers, the electoral officers, just got in and they're just preparing to set up for commencement of the election process today. But all around you can see the whole place is peaceful. The elderly ones are well seated, waiting to exercise their civic duties, and voters and other residents, both the young and the old, are also waiting to cast their votes patiently. And so far so good. In this very polling unit, there have been peace all around, no commotions, no crisis, no hiccups. And so we expect and we hope that this kind of process or this kind of atmosphere remains till the end of the voting exercise today. It's exactly 8 a.m. here at Obanla Ilesha of Osun State. Right behind me, you can see various polling units. This is Ward 1, although split into two. We have Ward 1, Unit 1 and Ward 1, Unit 2. The electoral officers are already here in terms of POs and APOs. They're already here. And residents, you can see around there beside me, they are actually around waiting to cast their vote. Our starting time for voting is actually 8 a.m., which it's now, but they're definitely going to give them a go-ahead to commence the voting and accreditation and making their voting process. And as it is, the town is peaceful. There is no issue so far. The crowd behind, both in front and behind, is actually okay. So we are going to go to other places to see how the situation here at Ilesha.
Welcome back. You're still onto the Osun State election, and now let's go straight to the fields and listen to some of our reporters or correspondents on the field. What is actually happening there?
I beg your pardon. It's election morning in Osun State, where the much anticipated Osun governorship election is ongoing. And we are right here at Iragbiji at Borikwe local government area of the state. It is the polling unit Ward 1, Unit 2, where the incumbent Governor Gboyega Oyetola will cast his vote. Right now the weather is cool, no rain, nothing. We thank God for the weather, everything is fine, the weather is calm. And as you can see, voting is ongoing. Behind me you see a huge crowd. It's a massive turnout this morning, and people are here in their numbers exercising their franchise. Behind me you will see the queue. They are already there casting their vote. Security personnel are available, they are on ground to do their work. The electorate have been at the polling unit as early as 7:30 a.m. to make sure everything is in order. If you look behind me, you see security personnel, you see the electorate in their large numbers ready to exercise their franchise. I will be putting you through to see how the election process is ongoing. unlike what we experience, or unlike what the electorate
would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides. The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides. The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th.
Welcome back. You're still on to the Captain TV, Captain Television, on the coverage of the Osun State election. Happening right now, today, Saturday, 16th. July. I have with me still in the studio Anire Benite. Yes, Anire, what exactly is happening in Osun State? Well, we have seen some feelers from visuals from Osun State, and some of the things that people are gradually coming out, accreditations are going on, and a lot of other things are happening. But what we are happy about is that the security situation is under control.
We've seen peace so far from the feeds that have been sent into the studio. The visuals have been beautiful. There's been calm. We could actually see some security agent operatives in the background.
Yes.
And of course, the people coming out to vote, looking all clean, looking all trim, looking all organized. And from what we are seeing right here in Lagos,
it seems the people are prepared.
Very good.
The people are really prepared for the election. And it says so well about the incoming election. That's the general elections that will come in next year. People are gradually leaving the area of violence, trying to snatch ballot boxes, and we have heard a lot of statements from people, political parties, on what they're doing.
But George, I think it is too early for us.
That is too early, but at least early in the morning, when what a child is going to be, or who a child is going to be.
What we hope and what we expect is that from the visuals that we've had from the field, it continues like that all through the elections and even after the election, because we have two sides to the coin. There's a process during and after, and they all count towards making sure that, we get the results that we desire. Before our guest left the other time, you were actually asking him questions about credibility. You asked him if he believed that the process will be as open and as clear as possible, and of course he gave his own idea, and that is what we're looking forward to, making sure that everything is done the way it ought to be at the end. So
Anira, before I come to you, let's for our viewers out there, you have to dial this number if you want to reach us, +234 91 36 28 2104. That is +234 491 362 821 and 04 to reach us in the studio to discuss the Osun State elections. So, yes, our guest actually did justice to so many things, and there is a need for people. When I mentioned earlier, there is a need for people to vote either with their hearts or their head now, but right now it's looking at their head. There's a call coming in. Let's see who it is.
Let's take the call.
Hello. Hello. Yes, who is on the line? This is Kaftan TV. Good morning. You said?
I'm calling from Otupo in Benue State.
So what's your name, please?
I am talking to Kaftan TV.
Yes, you are speaking to Kaftan TV. What is your name, please?
Okay, my name is Comrade Lucien.
Please, can
you be a bit audible and then reduce the volume of your TV, please?
Yes, the volume of your TV.
Okay. Yes, can I talk now?
Your TV is still
Your
on.
TV
The
is still
volume,
up
please.
there, please.
I've reduced the volume already.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you said you were who? Honorable?
Comrade James Sidu.
Okay, Comrade James Sidu. Can you go ahead, please?
Yes, I'm very much interested in your program this morning.
Thank you.
Actually, these are the kind of monitoring, in front of monitoring, these kind of things we needed in this country. Actually, the program is a nice one.
Thank
but
you.
then, I pray that let the election be peaceful. And like now, actually, one of your pressmen or the man on the television was saying that it is in the morning. It is that is the time you can monitor what the child could be. They are hoping that Nigeria should have developed beyond the issue of both ballot paper snatching. We are hoping that this country should be having a peaceful election, and we are also hoping that these are some of the elections that will determine what is going to happen in 2003. If Nigeria has developed to this point, and just like what happened in the Ekiti election in the other week, if Osun State election will become so matured to this level, it will be very grateful, and people will be interested in 2003 election. But what we are scared of now is the issue of vote buying, and that vote buying is also making the system worse in this country.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right, so Comrade, we need to comment on this now.
We need to
thank you so much
now
for your comments.
to our correspondent on the field. We want you to stay on watching. George, please. George, please, could you help us with the call, please?
Not going into such things that have happened in the election. Thank you.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks for calling in. We want you to still keep watching, and probably you can call back again to respond to whatever we're bringing right now from the field. Our correspondent is standing by, so that's where we're going right now to Osun, live in Osun. Stay with us. Yes, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Captain Television International, and today we're bringing you the Osun elections live from Osun State as the Osun people decide today. If you're just joining us, you've missed the interviews, you've missed a lot of information that we've been given, so we want you to stick here with us to get more. We have our correspondent standing by on the field as we bring you the sights and the sounds from Osun State. So stay with us.
Okay, now we'll be listening to one of the electorate who just exercised franchise. We'll be asking what our experience was during the exercise. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
I would like to know your name.
My name is Mrs. Fatusin.
What has been your experience during the whole exercise so far?
They are orderly. We have a good turnout. I'm impressed. We even have elderlies that are being assisted to come on. And this particular unit have done a good job. They are even assisting people that may not be able to read or write to advise them on how to thumbprint. All in all, it's a good turnout. I'm happy. I hope everybody will exercise patience and allow the system to flow.
Okay, what is your observation from the INEC point of view?
They are okay. They are professional. They are clearly on course. You know, they are not moved by the noise, which is good. They are not rattled. So I'm happy. I'm happy. Thank you, Mrs. Fatusin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's Mrs. Fatusi telling us our experience from the election so far. The election is still ongoing, and we shall be bringing to you and some other time another person's opinion from his or her experience. Thank you.
Leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides. The Osun gubernatorial election
Ibi tí ló wà wájú. Bàtọ́ máa lẹ́dí yẹn lẹ máa wù.
Dìísù. Sọ́ọ̀lẹ̀. Ọmọ oríṣi ìjọba àti ìṣẹ́. Lọ́wọ́ yàrá àjẹ́. Àrídí. Wọ́n náà rí tẹ̀lá. Èmi náà rí tẹ̀lá. Ó pè bẹ́ẹ̀ ní dàda. Ọkọ rẹ̀.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Captain Television International coming to you live right here in Lagos as we bring you live feeds from Osun State, which we've tagged Osun Decides 2022. We are linking up with one of our correspondents now, Emmanuel Olubabokun via Skype, is at Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1. And Emmanuel, if you can hear us, let us identify yourself right there from the field. Emmanuel. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yeah, good morning.
Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning.
We can't hear you, Emmanuel. Good morning.
Emmanuel, good morning.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Good morning.
Emmanuel Olubabokun
Good morning.
joining us from Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1 in Osun State. We want to know exactly what is going on right now at Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1 in Osun, as we wait to reconnect with Emmanuel. Emmanuel. Now, before Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello. Good morning.
Emmanuel, good morning.
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Good morning. I can hear you now.
Hear you from
Yes.
here, or just faintly. So we want to know what's going on right now at Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1. So give us, what is going on in the unit right now?
Okay. Presently, that is the polling unit of the former governor of Osun State, Rauf Arubeshola. But he isn't around yet. They said he's not around. But presently, there have been little agitations over here due to voters coming out to.
We're not hearing you properly. We'll get back to you. Just stand by. Just hold on for us. We'll get back to you. Now, the governor of Osun. Welcome back. Yes, you're still on to our live presentation, Osun Decides 2021, coming to you right here from Captain Television International. Before we went on a short break, we were actually speaking with Emmanuel Olugbookun via Skype, where he is standing by at Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1, and we are linking back to Osun State now to Emmanuel as we bring you live presentation all the way from Osun State. Emmanuel.
Good morning.
Can you hear me, Emmanuel?
Yes, I can. Good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel. Yes. So tell us what is going on right there at Osun. That is the Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1, where you are right now.
All right. Presently at Ifofin Ward 8, Unit 1. Everything is actually, election process is going smooth. But the most amazing thing that is actually very inspiring to me is the turnout of the elderly, which the aged are both men and women, because they actually even got here way too early, according to what I passed some minutes to 7 to come cast their vote. But there were little agitations earlier on before now, whereby they were saying that they needed someone to assist the elderly ones in casting their vote, but some other political party agents were saying no, they will want that, it might lead to rigging and the rest. But along the line, the security agents were able to come to the situation. But presently right now, voting is still ongoing. As you can see right behind me, it's still ongoing, whereby it's going smoothly as it is right now. Voters coming out en masse to actually cast their vote presently. But there has not been any instance of or incidents of anything that maybe violated vote buying, or also the incidents of the riots and whatsoever. Though there are thugs around there, yes, no doubt, but they're actually even doing the job of the security officials here, trying to make sure that everything goes on smooth and fair. According to looking at when the electoral observers or electoral officers got here, they got here quite on time, because election exercise, the voting exercise took place, started at exactly 8:30 at this very polling unit, compared to some other polling units where we actually went to where some were just arriving, and although some also started in time, some actually started as early as 8. That is way before the time of the 8 time the space to commence the voting. But so far, right here in the Ifofin polling unit, everything is going smooth.
So, Emmanuel, there is nothing like a voters' apathy.
Nothing of such as yeah, but though I've been getting news and reports that in various other polling units there have been issue of maybe vote buying and the rest. But so far in this very polling unit, both parties, especially the two strong parties, we have PDP and APC, are both conducting themselves orderly in this way, which is actually a big plus looking at our electoral system these days, because everyone is doing their part. Both parties have been conducting themselves very well. You come in, you cast your vote, you go your respective homes. But although some are saying they're going to wait till the end of the whole voting exercise to secure the watching counting in case any other thing comes. But so far, there have not been any thing of such, vote as a party, vote buying or such in this very polling unit.
Now, Emmanuel, you told us that we have more of the elderly people out there voting, unlike the previous elections that we've had, where you see the youth come out, you see them all active.
Yes.
Why do you think this is happening in Osun State today? Have you been able to find out why we're having this unusual balance, with people coming out today to vote?
Yeah, I was able to, but the response I got was this, that they are tired of sitting down and waiting for the government to decide their fate. So this time around, they don't mind of eating everything, coming out in their walking sticks or their crutches to come and actually cast their votes this time around. Even though some are saying that they're actually using the elderlies to actually manipulate the electoral process, but from what I could get from the elderlies and trying to speak with them, I got to understand that they actually want a change this time around. Some are saying that the time they've spent, the past 4 years has been hectic for them, has been very tough for them, but this time around they want to change. While some are saying, oh, the past 4 years has been good, so we want to come out and make sure that people actually still cast their vote this time around, and they want their vote to count this time around, instead of sitting down at home and waiting for someone to come spoon-feed them in their homes. But this time around, they say they're coming out to actually cast their vote. So that is the reason why they're coming out in mass this time around, which is a big plus looking at the electoral system in Nigeria.
So what you're saying is, in fact, you mentioned about vote buying, that just information coming from other zones. How do you think INEC is tackling that? Because there's issues of vote buying and politicians perfecting, vote buying. It happens in Ekiti, but in Osun State, it's another test for INEC.
The issue of INEC tackling that of vote buying, definitely we should know the standard. We cannot, INEC alone cannot actually tackle the issue of vote buying. Those that still want to get money to cast the vote for such a particular party, it won't be easy for INEC. The security personnel also have to come in place, even though they're actually doing it. Because according to the reports I got, the vote buying in these particular areas are actually on a minimum compared to previous elections in Nigeria, in terms of it being widely open and fully seen. This time around is on the minimum, which means they're actually doing a good job in curbing or reducing the issue of vote buying. I would say you can't actually, in Nigeria, we can't actually definitely totally remove vote buying from the elections going back now. Why? Because people are saying they've suffered enough. I can't wait. At least let me eat the little I can eat presently before the best person comes and I start begin my suffering. But still, the vote buying process right now and the INEC vote buying is reduced. INEC actually are doing their best right now in making sure that vote buying, because while I was moving around, I got to see electoral officers, vote observers, and security personnel strictly making sure that they adhere to the rules of the game, especially party agents adhere to it, excluding vote buying, because they said vividly that anyone caught will be prosecuted and will be fined for such actions. So that is a good news to INEC and security personnel there.
Well, have you heard any form of any incidents at all from any of the zones of vote buying? Have you heard it?
From particular, though I don't really know the particular, I just got the information. Someone just shouting that there was some vote buying in the town, some polling units in Osogbo town, but I can't really say which particular ward actually was this vote buying taking place. But they said there were some issues of vote buying in Osogbo. But where I am in Elisha, going around town, I have not seen anything of such. Everyone is taking their role, exercising their civic duties and going back to their respective homes, while some are still waiting till the end of the electoral process. But for those particular units, I can't really say where exactly, except I have to push further to find out from those other locations how far and where and where exactly is the road and what actual polling unit it is. But so far, they said it's from the town.
We want that information. We'll definitely want that information. But let's talk about security now. How many do you have on ground there? Do you think the number we have there where you're at right now, Ifo in Ward 8, Unit 1, do you think they have enough security personnel on ground, and how effective has that been?
Yes, as in the area of security, they have enough, well enough security personnel on ground. Why? Because the personnel they already know. Many of them are actually from this particular area, so they know what actually goes on here. So they brought them here, and they're doing a good job. Right from the early hours of the day, they've been here stationed all around. Even as it is, some of them are right. You might not see them outside. They are right under the fence where they're actually doing the vote to make sure that everything goes peacefully. They are doing a very good job, and they are more than good enough, because they've been coming patrolling and going. They have the squads, doing some other big security agencies all the way from Abuja, and investigation board also coming around all the way from Abuja to make sure that everything goes. But the security personnel posted are stationed here. They are more than enough to make sure that this place is orderly. Because if they're not, this place would have been something else. But looking at the invitation that went on earlier today, but they were able to come around and make sure that the whole thing is peaceful up to this very moment as we speak.
Now, does this cut across, other zones? Do we have security operatives in other zones, securing life and the voting?
Of course, we do have them. There are even more, like it's where I said, looking at number of security personnel stationed to Osun State for Osun State election, I was able to understand that we have well over 21,000 security personnel coming for just this Osun State election, compared to previous elections whereby we have 10,000, 9,000 security personnel. But bringing the number of 21,000 security personnel, definitely there is way more than enough to make sure that's cutting across both the police, the military, the mobile police. They are all here, between number of 21,000, making sure that this Osun election goes free and fair. I believe this situation or this action is in relation to what happened in the previous election in 2018, where there were riots all around, cutlasses, there were people trying to commit all manner of atrocities and violence. So I'm very sure that was the reason why they had to double the manpower of security personnel for this present election.
Emmanuel, that's nice speaking with you in Ifofin. That's a ward 8, unit 1. In Elisha, Osun State. That's a very nice information there. But we'll be expecting more from you, to give us details. So if there's any form of vote buying or any form of fracas anywhere, because you mentioned that there are also touts on ground, but what they are doing, and we all know that touts foment troubles, you give us details of that. Thank you for your time.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Manuel. Now, we were told that in terms of personal deployment, the police DIG said 21,000 policemen have been deployed along with 3 helicopters and 3 gunboats. So when we come back, we're going to be asking Emmanuel if he has seen any helicopter so far in the air in terms of security. Yes, if you're joining us, it is Osun Decides live from Captain Television International. We'll take a short break. When we return, more for you. I think we have a guest coming up, and we have very, very important issues to talk about, which we want you to be part of. Of course, the phone lines are open. When we start our discussion, feel free, when the lines are open, to call in, and ask your question or contribute to the discussion right here in the studio. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides.
Please come around now.
Osun election is few hours away. The National Commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, in charge of the Southwest, Professor Kunle Ajayi, has assured Nigerians that the Commission is fully ready to deliver a free, fair, credible, and conclusive election at the Saturday's exercise. He also said, though the sensitive materials have been moved to various local governments, that the efficacy of the Vivas machines have been tested, and also that their trained staff are set for the exercise, saying voting starts 8:30 in the morning.
We are going to start the actual voting by 8:30 tomorrow. In the last 2 weeks, the chairman came twice to assess our readiness for the election. And in the process of assessing our readiness, told 7 states to test our equipment to be sure that they are functionally ready for the election. And in all the local governments we visited, where we tested the efficacy of our beavers, everything went well and everybody was happy.
He also emphasized on the issue of vote buying, that the members of the public have been sensitized against vote buying, saying anybody caught will be handed over to the police.
We anticipated that, and we have warned people at the stakeholders meeting that it is an offense. We have warned people at the stakeholders meeting and at every forum that we have had the opportunity to talk to the public. We warn them that vote buying, vote selling is a crime under the new Act, and everybody will be responsible for his own conduct. Even we ourselves as INEC officials will be responsible for our conduct individually. So those that have anybody caught tomorrow vote buying will be handed over to the appropriate security agencies.
While responding on the issue of vote buying, the first public relations officer, Olumuyiwa Adejobi, who spoke with Kaftan TV, said that the police authority has concluded arrangement with the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to arrest anyone caught in the act of financial inducement during the election process.
Another service commanders, including the Inspector General of Police, they have decided to include EFCC into the ISS Agency Consultative Committee on Election Security. Is a body comprising the Inspector General of Police, the police, and some of these federal-owned outfits that are working for better security of elections in Nigeria. So they've incorporated EFCC into this body. It's a specialized unit, as you know, to go for investigate financial crimes. So they were in Ekiti and they picked some people, but I don't know. They had to give us update on that. But we have decided to work with them in Osun State now, because people have been calling our attention to this, and we want to actually go after these people who might want to be buying votes or seducing electorate. So we are going to beam our searchlight on them.
Public Relations Officer therefore warned anyone or group of persons who may want to foment trouble to desist for their own sake, which is said there is heavy deployment of 21,000 personnel with other security agencies totaling 40,000 in all.
As from 12 midnight to 6 p.m. Saturday, 5 p.m. Saturday, 16th July 2022, there will not be movement. For anyone who violates this order will be picked up, because we think and we believe such a person is going out there to foment trouble anywhere, or to cause electoral offense anywhere. So we will not take it lightly with anybody. We are serious about this restriction of other movement. Based on the approval of the Inspector General of Police, 21,000 police personnel, and we have other security agencies who have been incorporated to this election security management. We are having almost all together, we are not making mistake, 30-something or 40,000 thereabout all together. And the reason is we have a very large number of polling units in Osun State, 3,753 polling units across the 332 wards and 30 local government councils of Osun State. So this large number of polling units formed basis for our large deployment, and we actually need it, and we have done that, and we are very optimistic that this deployment is going to pay off. Even we have visible policing on ground, I'm sure these ilums that might want to foment trouble will run away.
From Osogbo, the Osun State capital, Temitope Adedeji reporting for Kaftan TV News.
The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides.
Welcome back. You're still on to Captain Television International. Yes. We are still on the Osun State elections, and we have our guest in the studio to discuss our second topic of the day, Aderiti Emmanuel. He's a political analyst. He's also a businessman. You're welcome.
It's so nice to have you. Now, last time the country conducted an election for contestants into various elective posts was in 2015. Recall the 2011 general election was characterized with violence before, during, and after the election. The violence that took place, especially after the presidential election, was unique in the history of the Nigerian politics. Joining us in the studio, like George rightly said, is to discuss the topic electioneering process in Nigeria, challenges, prospects is our guest. I want to introduce him again, Aderiti Emmanuel. I want to ask now, the 1959 general elections paved the way for the emergence of Nigeria as an independent state. Since then, various elections have been held either in a transition from one civilian government to another or in the transition from military regimes to the civilian administration. Analysts argue that since then, Nigeria has been unable to hold a free and fair election because of some underpinning factors, which includes corruption, religious differences, ethnicity, regionalism, and others. In your opinion, what are the prospects of a free and fair election? The prospects, not the disadvantages, the prospects of a free and fair election in Nigeria. Of course, we'll juxtapose that with your Osun election.
Okay, well, first and foremost, it's good to be here, once again, and Osun State happens to be the state where I am from. Okay, and it's a good thing that there's a massive turnout of voters today, and having said that, for an election to be truly free and fair, the citizenry, as it were, the voting population, have to be able to have unhindered, unprohibited, access to not just register to vote, but to also be able to cast their votes and to make their votes count, and already till date, there are a lot of people that are experiencing issues with the voter registration and all of that. And for as long as INEC, which is the body that is solely in charge of electioneering in Nigeria, continues to not be entirely independent, it's going to be difficult to have an electioneering process that is free and fair. Because he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And it is my honest opinion, that the first step that we need to take is to, be able to grow to the level where we're able to to separate the entire machinery of electioneering, from governance itself, so that because every INEC chairman, for instance, is the appointee of
the president.
And the president is the number one person of his party. And except one deceive ourselves, it's impossible, for you to wield so much power and not use it to your advantage. So even as Osun is deciding today, it is very clear and very glaring, that the power of incumbency will come to play, and the election is actually APC's to lose, and that's it basically.
Well, you've spoken so well there, and but we need to also understand that with what we have seen so far, you know, the feelers coming so far, our correspondent says some are there to say we want a change. You know, they are not feeling so well about what happened in the past. And then there's some who also want there's some who also feel that, oh, the present government is doing so fine. But then you talked about electioneering and INEC not being an independent, you know, organized body. But how do you, in any way, form an INEC body, you know, devoid of government involvement? Because it is still the government that will set up these bodies. You know, we don't know who is going to set them up. Is it me? Is it you? Or who sets them up? Or they just come up themselves? How do you go about that?
Before, I also want to add to what George said. So it's going to be like a dual thing. So, like you rightly said, I want to use Goodluck Jonathan as an example. Because a lot of people will argue with you. A lot of people will not agree with you that INEC is not independent, as it were. And you always reference to the election that hoisted, no, pardon me, we're not in a military regime right now. So
that brought in the present government.
The present government, as it were, because we all know what, we all recall what happened. If INEC is not as independent as a lot of people perceive it to be, a lot of people say that the other school that, you know, Goodluck would have won and would have come back, or he wouldn't have agreed to leave, you know, or he would have raised some dust, and, you know, the country would have been embroiled in so much confusion during that season. So I want you to balance this, you know, with what George has said, what you have said, and of course, this middle.
Okay, is it the fact of the matter remains that that brought in the current regime, okay, is an exception to the rule and not a norm. You know, and they are all across the world. There are very few Jonathans out there. You know, and it takes the strength of character. You know, it takes a lot of maturity and selflessness, okay, to be able to do what Jonathan did. You know, to be able to put the interest of the entire nation, you know, above yours, you know, and all across the world. I'm talking developed, underdeveloped, and all that, you know, nations across the world. You know, nobody plants seeds, you know, with expectation for others, you know, to come and reap from it. You know, so everybody wants to plow towards themselves. You know, and regardless of how you look at it, whether you use colored lens, whether you use, you know, plain lenses and all that, the fact remains that, I mean, it has come to play severally. Take, for instance, the election that brought in the incumbent. You know, the president was recorded to have said that it was remote controlled. You know, and people came out and they termed that as whatever it was, you know, that they could. You are free to interpret it however you want to, you know, and then we all know what happens in this nation. We've had instances where elections have been held, and for one reason or the other, you know, the rightful person that was deemed to have won the election, you know, had been kicked out, and somebody that didn't even measure up at all was the one that was put in power. You know, so you can always manipulate these things if you are in charge. I cannot be paying your bills. Do you understand? Every year there's a budget for INEC. You know, the government sponsors this thing. It comes directly from the federal government. You know, if you're saying that you're independent National Electoral Commission, there should be ways for you to generate your funds independently. Because if you're not paying me, for instance, George, I cannot tell you, you know, how to treat your wife. I cannot tell you what school to send your children to, because I do not pay the bills.
But sir, I want to ask a question. You use the word independent. They are independent electoral commission.
On paper.
On paper, whatever. Now, but if you go to the law, it is still the person who is either appointed or elected to be in that position that makes, the final say, that has the final say. We saw some dramas that occurred during the 2015 election, general election, when the counting was going on, and there was a particular drama that ensured that somebody was coming and almost went to, Jagad at the time, trying to do some certain thing. He just sat there and he was watching until that settled down, and he made his pronouncement eventually. So, if somebody is elected, is it not the body is supposed to be a system that is supposed to work independently? A system.
5 minutes and like
check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2 check. Check check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Check. Check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Check. Check, check, check. Check, check. Hello, check, check.
That's why they leave this one.
Bring it down a little. I should reduce it a little. Hold it down.
Test. Bring your nose down a little, just a little, and test.
Please don't increase the volume, please.
Mic check, let's check.
Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. Check. Check, check.
Answer, NTA. Hope that's not where you want to say, sir. NTA, all reporters should just leave, please. All reporters should just leave. All reporters should just leave.
Why not drop your mic there?
I know.
Drop your mic there.
Step back. Boss, please help us put it by side. This one. Boss, I know that my phone leave. Let's go leave by then. Don't move them back. You want that the box? No, Move back, you won't vote. Move back, you won't vote.
Getting when he's at that point.
Everybody go back, step back. Let them have been done time and go now.
Bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides. Year, all governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on the 16th of July on Captain TV News as we bring you updates and live reports as Osun Decides. The Osun gubernatorial election is here. All governorship candidates of the various political parties have emerged ahead of July 16th governorship election as the people of Osun State would elect a leader. Join us 9 a.m. Central African Time on
8:15 a.m. on Saturday. People of Fede, the hometown of the People's Democratic Party candidate, Senator Ademola Adeleke, were seen to be going about their lawful business activities. At the Unit 7 and 9, Ward 2, where the senator votes, people trooped out in their large numbers, even before the voting time, to express their franchise. Nuruddin Amo, a voter, appreciated the prompt arrival of the INEC officials.
In fact, I'm very happy the way the INEC is organizing the process of election. And everything is peaceful. The security agents, they are working well, and in fact, I know that at the end of the exercise, everything will be going peaceful by God's grace.
Also, Oloyede Barakat Okpeyemi, who was the first person to vote at Unit 9, Ward 2, said the voting was good and well coordinated.
The voting is going normal. There is no any riot or anything. It's going normal.
At exactly 8:45 in the morning, the senator arrived his polling unit, Unit 9, Ward 2, with his wife in a white Yoruba attire and cast his vote. He was accredited at exactly 8:49 a.m. and cast when it was 8:50 a.m. Meanwhile, the PDP candidate expressed satisfaction over the INEC Beavers machine, saying the election umpire has improved. He also appreciated his people for coming out in their large numbers to cast the vote.
I think INEC has improved. INEC has improved whichever way. If you put your fingerprint, if you couldn't get it, they will get you through face, and it will work faster. So they have improved, and I give them kudos. The turnout is impressive, very, very impressive.
From Ede in Osun State, Temitope Adedeji reporting for Captain TV News.
Yes, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Osun Decides 2022, right here from Captain Television Live. Yes, you've seen from the visuals that we've brought to you that the two major candidates of the PDP and the APC, they've cast their vote, Adeleke and of course, the very first one that we brought to you was the incumbent from Miragbaji, Borife local government area. And yes, we can see from the feeds that the action on ground is actually on. So our guests are still right here with us in the house. Is Iderati Emmanuel, who is a political analyst. Now, from the